I applied for my dream job 3 weeks ago. Vice President of Strategy at Hendricks & Cole, the kind of position that would have validated every sacrifice I made in my career. The recruiter called yesterday, said they'd conducted their reference checks, said they were moving in a different direction. I knew before I even asked. I knew who they'd called. Miles won't give me a reference. Won't return the recruiter's emails. Won't acknowledge that I exist. And the worst part, he's completely justified in every second of his silence. Because 18 months ago, I stood in front of his mentor, the man who'd shaped his entire career, and told him Miles was coasting on potential. I said it at the company's annual leadership dinner. I said it with 40 people listening. I said it with a smile on my face, like I was sharing an amusing observation about the weather. I destroyed him in 8 seconds. It took him 6 months to stop trying to fix us. It's taken me 18 months to understand what I really destroyed that night. Let me tell you about Miles before I killed the man I loved. He'd wake up 20 minutes before me every morning just to make my coffee. 2 sugars, oat milk, in the blue mug I liked because it kept things hot longer. He'd set it on my nightstand so I'd smell it when I woke up. Did that for 3 years straight. I never once thanked him for it, not once. I just expected it, like sunrise, like oxygen. When my father had his stroke, Miles took a week off work without asking his boss. Just told them it was an emergency and drove me 4 hours to the hospital. Sat in those awful plastic chairs for 16 hours while I held my dad's hand. Brought me terrible vending machine coffee because the cafeteria was closed. Never complained, never checked his phone. Just sat there, solid as a mountain, while my world fell apart. He remembered everything. My best friend's birthday, the name of my childhood dog, that I hated cilantro but loved coriander even though they're the same plant. He'd leave post-it notes on the bathroom mirror. "You're going to kill that presentation today." He meant it. He believed in me more than I believed in myself, and I repaid all of that by making him feel worthless. It started small. It always does, doesn't it? Little comments I told myself were jokes. Little corrections I told myself were helpful. Little moments of public criticism I told myself were just honesty. At my parents' 40th anniversary dinner, he was telling the story of how we met. Got one detail wrong, said it was a Tuesday when it was actually a Wednesday. I interrupted him. "It was Wednesday, you always get that wrong." He stopped mid-sentence, laughed it off, but his hand left mine under the table. I felt it go, didn't think about why. My friend was there. She leaned over while he was in the bathroom. "You can do better, you know. He's sweet, but is sweet enough?" I laughed. I actually laughed. Like Miles was a participation trophy I'd settled for. He worked in business development at Reeves Corporation, not a flashy job, not the kind of job that impressed people at parties. Made good money, comfortable money, but he wasn't changing the world. And I think, somewhere deep in the ugly part of my brain, that bothered me because I was ambitious. I was climbing, and he was stable. Stable felt like stagnant, comfortable felt like complacent, and I started treating him like a project that needed fixing instead of a partner who deserved respect. 6 months before the dinner, his boss took him aside, told him he was being considered for a director role, told him he had something special, emotional intelligence, they called it. The ability to read people, to build genuine relationships, to make clients feel valued and understood. Not a skill you can teach, not a skill you can fake. Miles came home excited, actually excited. I saw that light in his eyes, the one that used to show up when he looked at me before I dimmed it with 1,000 small cruelties. He wanted to celebrate, wanted to take me to dinner. I asked about the salary first, before congratulations, before I'm proud of you, before anything resembling love. "What's the bump?" That's what I said. "What's the bump?" The light went out. He told me. I calculated it in my head. Did the math on what that meant for our future, for our financial goals, for my timeline. And then I said it. "That's it. For director." He went quiet. That particular quiet that meant I'd hurt him. That quiet I'd learned to ignore because acknowledging it meant acknowledging I was cruel. "It's a good opportunity," he said, defensive. "Small." "Of course it is," I said, and I meant it as reassurance. But it came out condescending. Everything I said to him came out condescending by then. I just thought director would be more. He didn't talk about work with me after that, kept it surface level. Work was fine. The project's going well. Nothing real, nothing vulnerable. I'd made it clear that his professional life was disappointing to me, so he stopped sharing it. I should have noticed. Should have wondered why the man who used to tell me everything suddenly told me nothing. Should have asked myself what I'd done to make him feel unsafe with me. I didn't wonder. I didn't ask. I just kept chipping away at him. 3 months before the dinner, we went to his company picnic. Casual thing, families invited, kids running around, volleyball nets set up in the park. His colleagues were nice. Normal people. Teachers, accountants, his work friends with their spouses who all seemed to genuinely like each other. Someone asked what I did. I work in corporate strategy consulting, the kind of job that sounds impressive at parties, the kind that involves a lot of travel and PowerPoint presentations for executives who pretend to listen. I explained it. Probably went on too long. Probably made it sound more important than it was. Then someone asked Miles about his new project. This community partnership initiative he'd designed, connecting local businesses with development resources, creating these mentorship programs that were actually changing people's lives. He started talking about it, and I watched him transform. Watched him become animated, passionate, alive. And I felt it. That ugly twist in my chest, jealousy, because these people, his people, were looking at him with genuine admiration, because he was good at something I didn't understand, because for 10 minutes he was the center of attention and I wasn't, so I said it, in front of 8 people. He's being modest. The real genius is that they're finally using him for something. His boss has been trying to figure out what to do with him for years. The conversation stopped. Someone changed the subject. Miles excused himself to get more ice. I heard one of his colleagues say to another, "Did she really just say that?" And the other one replied, "I think she did." He was quiet on the drive home. I asked what was wrong. He said nothing. I pushed. He finally said, "Why do you do that? Make me small in front of people?" I was genuinely confused. I thought I was being funny, thought I was just participating in the conversation. "I was joking," I said. "No," he said. "You weren't." We drove the rest of the way in silence. That night, he slept facing away from me for the first time in 3 years. I told myself he was being oversensitive, told myself everyone jokes about their partners, told myself he needed to develop thicker skin. I never once told myself I needed to develop a kinder heart. That was July. The dinner was October. 3 months of increasing distance that I barely noticed because I was too busy being busy. Too focused on my career, my goals, my trajectory. Too obsessed with my own climb to notice I was using him as a stepping stone. His boss, his mentor, the man who saw something in Miles that I refused to see, was hosting the leadership dinner. Annual thing. Big deal. Partners, directors, their spouses. Fancy restaurant downtown, the kind with a Michelin star and a dress code. Black tie. Miles was nervous. I could tell by the way he adjusted his tie 17 times before we left, by the way he asked 3 times if he looked okay, by the way he said, "Please, tonight, can we just have a nice time?" I said, of course. I meant it. I thought I meant it. We arrived at Stella's. This restaurant on the harbor with floor-to-ceiling windows, everything reflecting in polished dark wood, white tablecloths crisp as paper, wine glasses catching the light from candles on every table. The kind of place where conversations happen in low murmurs, where people lean in close and discuss important things. The air smelled like fresh bread, wine, and ambition. I'd had a terrible week. 3 client pitches, 3 rejections. My boss had pulled me aside to say maybe I should reconsider my approach. I'd been working 80-hour weeks for 6 months and had nothing to show for it except exhaustion and a creeping sense that I was falling behind some invisible curve. I felt diminished. Insufficient. Small, and when you feel small, you make other people smaller. That's what I told myself it was, years later when I finally understood. I drank 2 glasses of wine before the appetizers arrived. Miles touched my hand under the table. "You okay?" he whispered. "Fine," I said, pulled my hand away to reach for my water. His fingers closed on nothing, stayed there for a second, then withdrew. The conversation was pleasant, boring, safe. Work stories, industry gossip, someone's upcoming vacation to Portugal. Margaret asked about my job. I gave the short version, the one that sounds impressive without being obnoxious. She seemed genuinely interested. Then Paul turned to Miles. "I want everyone here to hear about the Community Partnership Program. Miles, tell them what you've built." I watched him hesitate, saw that flicker of fear in his eyes, the fear I'd put there brick by brick, comment by comment, the fear that whatever he said, I'd find it lacking. But Paul's encouragement was real, warm, and Miles started talking. He told them about the program, how it connected established businesses with new entrepreneurs, how it created mentorship chains that rippled through entire communities, how they'd tracked economic impact, 11 new businesses launched, 43 jobs created, measurable growth in 3 struggling neighborhoods. The table was silent, listening, really listening. One of the other directors said, "That's incredible. How did you think of this?" Miles smiled, that rare, genuine smile I'd seen maybe 5 times in the last year. "I just listened to what people needed, really listened, and then connected dots." Paul leaned forward. "This is what I've been trying to tell people about Miles." That emotional intelligence, that ability to truly hear what people aren't saying and respond to the real need, you can't teach that, can't train it, it's a gift. He turned to me. "You must be so proud of him." Everyone was looking at me, expectant, waiting for me to confirm what they all saw, that Miles was special, that what he'd built mattered. That I recognized the value of the man sitting beside me. Margaret touched my arm, warm, kind. "It must be wonderful to watch him grow like this." And I felt it. That same ugly twist, that same jealousy, because they were all looking at him with admiration, because he was succeeding in a way I wasn't. Because in that moment, at that table, he was the impressive one and I was just the spouse in the nice dress. My face flushed. The wine hit my bloodstream. I heard Jessica's voice in my head from months ago, "Is sweet enough." I heard my own voice from the picnic. "They're finally using him for something." I laughed, actually laughed, light, dismissive, the kind of laugh that says, "Cute story, but let's be real." Everyone turned to me and I said it. "Emotionally intelligent. Paul," he cried during the notebook, "I keep telling him real leadership requires toughness. You can't coast on potential forever. At some point you have to actually perform." The words hung in the air like smoke, poisonous, permanent. Nobody laughed. Margaret's fork stopped halfway to her mouth, just froze there, suspended, while her face transformed from warmth to horror. Paul's smile didn't die slowly. It shattered. I watched it happen frame by frame. The light left his eyes, his mouth closed, his posture shifted backward, physically recoiling. The other director and his wife exchanged a look. The kind of look that communicates volumes in silence. The kind that says, "Did that just happen? Is she serious?" Someone cleared their throat. A glass clinked against a plate. The jazz kept playing, oblivious. Miles's hand left mine under the table, not quickly, not in anger. Slowly, deliberately, like he was setting down something fragile he could no longer carry. His fingers slipped away from mine and I felt the absence like frostbite. The silence lasted maybe 10 seconds. Felt like standing on the edge of a cliff, feeling the ground crumble, knowing I was about to fall and unable to stop it. I looked at him, expecting what? Embarrassment. That familiar shutdown I'd seen 100 times before when I'd made him small. His face was empty, not angry, not hurt. Empty, like someone had reached inside him and turned off every light, closed every door, evacuated every room. His eyes met mine and I saw nothing. No love, no anger, no pain, just absence, like I was looking at a stranger, like he was looking through me at something far away. He placed his napkin on the table, folded it, perfect creases, precise corners, the movements of someone maintaining control through ritual. He stood. The chair scraped against hardwood. That awful sound, too loud in the awful silence. He said 2 words, "Excuse me." His voice was flat, dead, a voice I'd never heard, a voice that belonged to someone else, someone I'd created, someone who'd finally had enough, and he walked away. I watched his back move through the restaurant, past the other tables with their quiet conversations and flickering candles, past the host stand, through the massive wooden doors into the October night. I sat there, still holding my wine glass, still wearing my smile, though it felt wrong now, like someone had stitched it onto my face. Paul was staring at his plate, wouldn't look up, wouldn't look at me. After an eternity, he cleared his throat. I think we should probably call it a night. Margaret gathered her purse. Before she left, she leaned close to my ear. Her voice was soft, pitying, devastated. What did you just do? The other couple stood without speaking. The woman, I never learned her name, looked at me with something between disgust and pity. They left their dinners half-eaten on the table. The waiter approached, saw the empty chairs, saw my face, saw the destruction, and turned around without a word. I sat there alone for 10 minutes. The jazz kept playing. The candles kept flickering. The harbor lights kept twinkling through those floor-to-ceiling windows. Everything exactly the same and everything completely destroyed. My stomach wasn't upset. It had evacuated, like stepping off a cliff, like falling through space. I knew. In that moment, sitting in that expensive restaurant surrounded by abandoned dinners and pitying waitstaff, I knew I'd broken something that couldn't be fixed. I tried to text him, once in the restaurant. My hands were shaking so hard I had to retype it 3 times. Baby, I'm sorry, I didn't mean it. Please come back. No response. In the parking lot, standing under the harsh fluorescent lights, I texted again. Where are you? We need to talk. No message. I texted 15 more times on the drive home. Apologies, explanations, bargaining, begging, all ignored. I pulled into our driveway at 9:47 p.m. His car was gone. I sat in mine for an hour, waiting. Called him 16 times, straight to voicemail. I went inside, our home, the place we'd built together, the couch we'd picked out, the photos on the walls. His coffee mug in the sink from that morning. Everything exactly as we'd left it 6 hours ago when we'd still been in us. I sat on the couch, watched my phone, watched the door, imagined him walking through it, ready to talk, ready to forgive. Imagined myself explaining that I was drunk, that I was insecure, that I didn't mean it. Except I did mean it. That was the thing. In that moment, fueled by wine and jealousy and my own crushing inadequacy, I meant every word. I wanted to cut him down. I wanted to make him smaller so I could feel bigger. I succeeded, and it cost me everything. He came home at 3 a.m. I heard his key in the lock. I was still on the couch, phone in hand, eyes burning from not blinking, chest tight from not breathing. He didn't look at me, walked straight to the bedroom. I heard drawers opening, the closet door sliding, the sound of zippers. I followed him. He was packing a bag, methodical, calm, folding each shirt with care, placing each item precisely. Like if he did this one thing perfectly, something might make sense. Baby, please. My voice cracked. I'm sorry, I was drunk. I didn't mean it. Please don't leave. He didn't stop packing, didn't look up, didn't acknowledge I'd spoken. Miles, please, look at me. He zipped the bag, stood, turned to face me for the first time since the restaurant. His eyes were dry. That was somehow worse. No tears, no anger. Just clarity, terrible, final clarity. I have nothing to say to you. We can fix this, I said, pleading, reaching for him. We can go to counseling, I'll do better. He picked up his bag, walked past me. I grabbed his arm, he stopped, didn't pull away, didn't react. Just stopped, my hand on his sleeve, both of us frozen in the hallway we'd walked down 1,000 times. Please, I whispered. He looked at my hand on his arm, looked at my face, and said the words that haunt me still. You've been leaving me for months, Ivy. I'm just finally getting the message. He walked out. I heard his car start, heard it back down our driveway, heard it drive away. Stood in the doorway until sunrise, watching the street, waiting for him to come back. He didn't come back. I called many times in the first week. Every call declined. Like he was watching it ring, watching my name appear and choosing rejection every single time. I texted essays, paragraphs, confessions. I was wrong, I was scared. I was projecting my insecurities onto you because I felt small and you were succeeding and I couldn't handle it. All delivered, all read, no responses. On day 8, my phone buzzed. A text, 1 sentence, please stop contacting me. I didn't stop, couldn't stop, sent 40 more messages over the next week. I love you. I need you. Please give me another chance. Delivered. Read, nothing, then, if you contact me again, I'll block you. I stopped. I called his best friend Mike. We'd been close, couple friends, game nights every other week. His girlfriend Sarah and I swapped recipes. 6 years of friendship. Mike answered, heard my voice, paused, said, I can't do this. Hung up. I showed up at their apartment for game night. The game night we'd hosted at our place 50 times. They let me in, couldn't slam the door in my face, but the silence was damning. I sat down. Nobody spoke. Finally, Sarah, sweet Sarah, who'd hugged me at my birthday party 2 months before, said it. He asked us not to invite you, Ivy. We have to respect that. I left. They haven't called since. I see their Instagram stories sometimes. Group photos, dinner parties. Miles in the background, smiling, surrounded by people who love him. People who chose him over me. His mother used to call me daughter. 8 years of holidays. Birthday cards with both our names. Christmas gifts wrapped with care. She'd send me her recipes handwritten on index cards. For when you have babies, she'd say. I called her. 3 times, voicemail every time, each message more desperate than the last. 2 weeks after he left, I heard through a colleague that Paul had canceled 2 contracts with my firm. Significant contracts. Contracts worth enough that people noticed. He didn't explain why, didn't need to. Everyone knew. Somehow everyone knew what I'd said at that dinner. The story had traveled. Manhattan business circles are small, vicious, efficient. My boss called me into his office. What happened at the Reeves dinner? He'd heard. From someone, from everyone, I couldn't explain. Couldn't make it sound less terrible than it was. I'm still at the firm. Technically, my performance hasn't changed, but the trajectory died. Promotions go to other people now. Projects go to other people. Partnership conversations happen without me. I'm competent, professional, reliable, but nobody wants to work closely with someone who'd do that to someone they claimed to love. Then I heard about the promotion. 6 months after that dinner, after that terrible night, Miles got a promotion. Not a lateral move, not a small bump. Vice President of Operations, promotion. The role that shaped company culture, that touched every department, that required the exact emotional intelligence I'd mocked. I saw the announcement on LinkedIn. His photo, professional headshot, good suit, confident smile, the smile of a man who knew exactly who he was. The announcement had 612 likes and 94 comments. Well deserved. Couldn't think of anyone better. The future is bright. I wasn't one of the likes. I'd looked at his profile 87 times since he left. He'd never looked at mine. Not once. 3 months after the promotion, I saw a photo, tagged in someone's Instagram story. Company retreat, Cancun. Group photo on the beach at sunset. He'd changed, lost weight, not sick thin, but strong thin. Like he'd been running, lifting, caring for himself. New haircut, actual style instead of whatever the barber did. Wearing clothes that fit, that flattered, that spoke to confidence I'd never seen in him before. And he was smiling. This huge, genuine, from the chest smile that transformed his entire face. The kind of smile I'd seen maybe 10 times in 3 years together. The kind that said, I'm free, I'm whole, I'm happy, without me. I heard he started therapy, the thing I'd called weakness. Everyone has problems, Miles. You don't need to pay someone to listen to them. That's what I'd said when he suggested it. 10 months after he left, I saw her. A colleague sent me a photo. Isn't this your ex? Stella's, the same restaurant, the same windows, the same harbor view, her hand in his across the table. Pretty, not model pretty, but real pretty. Warm eyes, genuine smile. Looking at him like he hung every star in the sky, and him looking back at her the way he used to look at me before I killed it. They were sitting at our table, the exact table where I destroyed us. Margaret was there, hugging them both. I could read lips in the photo, so happy for you both. 3 months later, engagement announcement. The ring was beautiful. Better than the one he'd shown me once, nervous, hopeful, asking if I thought we were ready. I'd said, maybe we should wait, make sure we're stable first. Make sure you're successful enough first. Make sure you're impressive enough. Make sure you're enough. He didn't wait for her, didn't need to make sure. Didn't need her to validate his worth before offering his life. New house in the Riverside district, the neighborhood we'd looked at once, the one I'd said was too much for us right now. The one with the good schools, the tree-lined streets, the community gardens, the one I'd said we'd move to someday but never actually meant. His Instagram, public now, confident now, shows a life full of people, dinner parties, hiking trips, beach weekends, always surrounded by friends, family, joy, the kind of life he tried to build with me while I was too busy tearing him down to notice. I dated after him, Tried to, 3 guys. None lasted more than 8 weeks. I'd compare them. Always. The way Miles listened, really listened, not just waited to talk. The way he remembered details, anticipated needs, showed up without being asked. The way he loved me when I didn't deserve it. My career never recovered. Not officially. I'm still employed at the firm, still competent, still producing work. But that partner track conversation. Dead. The high-profile clients, given to others, the trajectory I'd sacrificed everything for, flatlined. Someone told me once, drunk at a holiday party, thinking they were being kind, "You're great at your job, Ivy, but nobody wants to work closely with someone who'd do that. Makes them wonder what you'd say about them." My friend group dissolved. The one who'd whispered, "You can do better," the one who'd normalized my cruelty, stopped answering my calls after 6 months. I see her Instagram. She got married last year. I wasn't invited. We'd been friends for 12 years. I saw them all at a wedding. Mutual friend from college. They were friendly. Surface friendly. "How are you?" Friendly. "We should get coffee sometime." Friendly, knowing we never would. Nobody asked me to sit with them. I ate wedding cake alone at a table in the back, watching everyone else dance and laugh and belong to each other. Went home at 9 p.m., cried in my car for an hour before driving. I'm 34 now, single. Haven't been on a date in 8 months. Live in a nice apartment in a good neighborhood. Make good money. More than Miles made when we were together, ironically. But less than he makes now. Far less. I have work friends who grab lunch. Yoga class friends who wave hello, but nobody I call at 2 a.m. Nobody who really knows me. I think they're afraid I'd talk about him. They're probably right. He's getting married next month. I know because his sister's Instagram isn't private. She posted about the bachelorette party. Beach somewhere tropical. His fiancée laughing with his sisters, his cousins, the family I used to be part of. They're registered at Williams-Sonoma, Crate and Barrel, the nice stores. The ones I'd told him were overpriced and unnecessary when he'd suggested we register there someday. They're building the life he wanted to build with me. The house in the good neighborhood. The community involvement. The dinner parties with friends who actually like each other. The quiet Sunday mornings reading the paper over coffee. Everything I had. Everything I threw away. 3 weeks ago, that recruiter called. Dream job. VP of strategy at Hendricks & Cole. The kind of position that validates everything. The kind that says you made it. They wanted references. I gave them 3 names from my firm. Good names. Partners who'd say good things. Yesterday, she called back. We've completed our reference checks. Unfortunately, we're moving in a different direction. I knew before I asked, but I asked anyway. Did you reach all my references? We did. And we also reached out to Paul Morrison at Reeves Corporation, your former partner's current employer. Standard practice for senior roles, we like to talk to people you've worked with indirectly. My stomach dropped. What did he say? He declined to comment, said he didn't feel comfortable providing a reference. Her voice was professional, pitying. Look, Ivy, I'm going to be straight with you. That silence speaks volumes. Whatever happened there, it's following you. I thanked her, hung up, sat at my desk staring at nothing. Paul won't give me a reference because of what I did to Miles, and I can't even argue, can't even be angry, because he's right. I don't deserve his help, don't deserve anyone's help. Miles won't return the recruiter's emails because he doesn't owe me anything, not a reference, not forgiveness, not even acknowledgement. I made sure of that when I humiliated him in front of the person he respected most. I lost the man who knew my coffee order, who brought it to me every morning without being asked, without thanks, without complaint. For 3 years. I never once said thank you. I lost the man who held me through panic attacks at 3 a.m., who never once told me to just calm down, who just held me until the storm passed, who made me feel safe even when I couldn't breathe. I lost the man who would have been the father of my children, who would have coached Little League and cried at dance recitals and taught them to be kind, kinder than I ever was. I lost 8 years and the rest of my life with him. I lost the person who loved me most in this world, and I lost him by making him feel small every single day until he couldn't breathe anymore. Sometimes people ask what I learned, if I could go back, what I'd change. Everything, I'd change everything. But that's not the real lesson. The real lesson is this: you can't love someone and make them feel inferior. Those two things cannot exist in the same space. One will kill the other. I thought I was pushing him to be better, stronger, more successful, more impressive, more enough. I was just pushing him away. Slowly, methodically. With 1,000 small cruelties I told myself were jokes, were honesty, were helpful. They were none of those things. They were abuse dressed up as love. And when you push someone long enough, eventually they stop pushing back. They don't fight, they don't argue, they just leave. And sometimes, most times, that's the kindest thing they can do, for themselves, for you, for everyone. The coffee goes cold on the counter like everything else I touch, like every relationship I've tried since. Like the career that was supposed to matter more. Cold, untouched, wasted. I start another day without him. Another day of the life I chose when I chose cruelty over kindness. Another day of being competent and professional and fine. Another day of being alone in ways that have nothing to do with relationship status. They say you don't know what you have until it's gone. They're wrong. I knew what I had. I just didn't think he'd ever leave. I thought he'd stay forever, no matter how I treated him, because he loved me. I was wrong about that too. If someone loves you, really loves you the way Miles loved me, treat them like they're irreplaceable. Because one day, if you're not careful, if you're cruel, if you take them for granted long enough, you'll learn the worst lesson: they are irreplaceable. And you'll spend the rest of your life knowing exactly what you destroyed, exactly how you destroyed it, and exactly why you can never get it back.